What are your worst college roommate horror stories? NSFW. My roommate once invited a girl that was kicked out of her house to stay with us. Keep in mind our dorm room was barely larger than a prison cell. I listened to them frick on the bottom bunk more times than I care to remember. Your roommate definitely thinks you're the shitty roommate for not leaving when they wanted to have sex. Freshman year college had bunks. Drunk roommate comes home before me. He sleeps on top. He drank too much. He wet the bed. Like an open fire hydrant apparently. I came home later and sat down in a flash flood puddle on mine soaked to the core. Needless to say I threw it in the shower and told him to get me a new one. TCH didn't pay rent for 3 months and we didn't know until after our lease was up. Was just resolved 6 months ago and graduated 2 years ago. We'll never sign a joint lease again. My first roommate. Oh, the memories. Very heavy. Very socially awkward and definitely psychotic. Often mumbled to himself with shifty eyes. Eat my food. And was either railing against the evils of religion out trying to get me to join the Army of the Virgin or some other Catholic sect. He often lounged around in his tighty whities and refused to clothe himself if I had guests or girls over. He would just sit down and put a blanket over his lap. I walked in on him jacking it or blaring porn a number of times. With which he used my tissues. He would also have long phone arguments with his girlfriend. Who according to the wallet photo he had of her, was Greedly from Captain Planet. The kicker for me was when he had a breakdown and called the RA and a counselor in to talk with him while I was writing a paper. He is highly agitated and at one point said, I just looked over at Devon Juices while he was asleep and thought to myself I should just take out my knife and kill him then myself. No offense Devon Juices. I was in the zone with the paper so I automatically replied. None taken. Then did a double take as the horror dawned on me. Nonplussed eye contact with my RA. Nope the frick out and moved to a different floor. This will probably be buried but hopefully someone can benefit from my past misery. My girlfriend lived in a 2-bedroom apartment with her friend. Both I and the roommate's boyfriends lived there. The girls were getting upset at each other and things had been going south. Then one day near the end of a Walking Dead episode we started talking about problems and talking turned to fighting. Things were said and he pulled a gun on me. I asked why he would do that and if I had been threatening him by yelling while sitting on the couch. He never pointed it at me but he did clock it. My GF pulled me into her bedroom where I called the police. When they got there we had already gone outside with him alone in the other bedroom. When the police entered there was a single gunshot and he ended his life. We left that apartment and never went back except to move out. This is the reason why I don't watch Walking Dead anymore. His GF said he had been feeling suicidal for months. This is why you get help. Help just means telling people. Talk about it. I thought it was just for attention when the GF said he was going to kill himself. It wasn't. It sucks knowing you could have done things differently. And sucks more not knowing if it would have made things better or worse. I have accepted it wasn't my fault. I have moved on. But man do I wish he would have mentioned it at some point. Even as a half joke so I would know it might be true and could help. Serious. I had a housemate, 4-person house, who I asked to take care of my dog over one weekend. I never left any of the responsibilities associated with my dog up to anyone else because the rest of the guys were doing me a favor by letting me have him there anyways. This one housemate wasn't a huge fan of the dog. And when I came home after the weekend, there was shitty and PSS in my room where presumably my dog was kept most of the weekend. His food and water were in there too. So I guess that's something. He was really skittish when I went to say hi to him. So I think my housemate hit or kicked him while I was gone. This happened to my cousin. I was there to witness the aftermath. My cousin is an international college student who had just moved here and barely spoke any English. He moved in with another roommate to offset the ridiculous cost of a NY apartment. His roommate met a pretty cute girl. However, he discussed it with my cousin and agreed that there was something odd about the girl. He didn't want to fully commit to a relationship just yet. But they still hooked up. My cousin also said that his roommate still talked to other girls, but didn't move farther than that. One day my cousin and his roommate were having breakfast in the kitchen. The girl had slept over the night before. The girl wakes up and goes into the kitchen and picks up a knife and stabs his roommate in the neck 3 times. My cousin freezes in shock but then picks up his chair and tried to fend her away. She then takes the knife and stabs herself in the chest. Everyone survives. My cousin cried and called my dad telling him he hates America and wants to go back to China. Sharon used to eat in her room and then slide the plate under her bed. She'd do this every day until my other roommate and I couldn't bear the stink anymore and needed plates for our own dinner. She also regularly invited her drug dealer boyfriend over to hang out in our app during the day. Several times I came home to find deals taking place in our living room. Eventually the cops were called by one of our neighbors and we, not him, were interrogated and searched. Oh, and there's the time she left a sanitary towel sunny side up on the toilet seat in our shared bathroom. I could go on. I've never resided in a college dorm, but I just want to share that once I was in a Skype call with my good friend. Who does reside in a dorm? Who left his mic on when he left for an extended period of time, allowing me and the other 2 people in our call to hear all his roommates, like 5 other dudes, arguing about who ate the last Pop-Tart. Got pretty intense. Is this what dorm life is like? She got mad when I moved her clothes to the dryer after they'd been sitting in the washer for a day and a half. I just set their wet clothes on top of the dryer if they didn't move it in a timely manner. If they complained I would just tell them I don't know what in their washer's dryer safe or not. Besides it was likely when my wash was done their clothes would still be in the dryer anyways. I am in college and my roommate currently likes to jerk off and leave his used cum issues all over the floor. I have told him to clean up after himself a million times. No flushing or throwing them away. Grosses me out so bad and I never bring my girlfriend to my house because of it. Dude shaved his chest hair in the kitchen. Also, had a super loud Asian girlfriend who screamed during sex, even when we had people over. I had a roommate that would mix booze and pills. One night she fell asleep with her vibrator doing its thing. She woke up when the batteries ran out. At least she had some fun dreams. Not really a roommate, but the kid who lived in the room next to me left his LimeWire public. Myself as well as a couple other kids on my floor discovered that he downloaded child porn. We reported him to our RA pretty soon afterwards and he got arrested I think the next day. Freshman year I got bunked up with an extra roommate due to over-enrollment. A cramped dorm room with 3 guys in it. For a while things were pretty fun and we were all friends. But after about 2 months one roommate had a few disgusting habits. First, he instead of walking literally across the hallway to the bathroom, he would pee in empty or half-empty Gatorade bottles and just let them sit in the open. That was gross. But then he started shitting in takeout boxes and letting them sit all night or day until me and other roommate got back to yell at him. The third thing is he had a she-box collection of used condoms being masturbated into. The smell was so horrendous and awful. It took the RA and whoever else in charge of housing a month to finally relocate me and the other guy and eventually kick the gross dude out. So for nearly an entire semester at any time you could walk into our room and see a shitty in a container with leftovers still in it. A mosaic of different colored PSS bottles. Or a soggy shebox on his desk filled with used condoms. He never went to class and would play video games on his computer until 5 AM every day. I still think back on it nearly 10 years ago and am blown away with how long it took for any administrative intervention to happen. Late to the game. But here it goes. My favorite roommate story is from freshman year. My roommate came home drunk one night and wandered into the dorm basement. She was too drunk to find a bathroom. So she peed in the dryer. Not the washing machine. The dryer. I'm half horrified. Half impressed. Given the fact it was a front loader. And in an incredible twist of fate, the next day she forgot her clothes in the washing machine. Some kind gentleman paid to put them in the dryer for her. And it just so happened that it was the one she peed in the night before.